Save it for the booth, conversations from a stoop. Let me introduce the host. They came to speak their truth. We all bringing heat, ain't talk about no propane. First host is pure dope, that's why we call it cocaine. Next up is Punk, he gon' give you what you want. He don't stunt like a pack of Dutchess, he gon' keep it blunt. Sugar Montana, she hot as Louisiana, and she hold no punches, so please excuse her manners. We got big homie, Suave, he pretty chill. When it comes to the topics 100, he keep it real. The show get you in tune, the flow get you enthused. Producer of the pod, that's why they call me Duece. Let go.
Communicate, they said. Talk to me about your feelings, they said.
Me.
Let me know what's
Welcome
going
to
on.
Another episode
Express
of Save It
yourself.
for the Booth. Happy New Year. We weren't
What up,
here
what
the
up?
New Year. Punk is in the building on
Cocaine.
his shenanigans.
I'm always
per
on
the
them shenanigans.
usual.
Let's get it.
We wavy today. We gonna get it. We gonna get into it, and we are definitely just going to let our words flow because I think today we are starting out. First of all,
It's a lot going on.
it's a lot going on. The
in
energy is
in
definitely
the personal
like
lives is-
just.
My energy amazing.
You know,
I feel good. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but I
check,
feel
check.
good.
Check,
Shout
check,
out
check.
to
We
moms.
got Duece.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah, my
Moms.
sister told me she be letting her listen to the pod. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Now I gotta
So she
To
can
lift
change.
her
really
spirit.
I gotta
to
change the
really-
way I talk and
Yes,
stuff. I can't be
please,
saying the
please do.
stuff I be saying, and mom's listening.
Please change. Please
I love
change
you,
how you
mama.
talk. My guy.
what
But I
she's
gotta be
created.
authentic, so I'm sorry. I'm just gonna talk.
Let's get into it. Punk wants to know, do women really want men to communicate? Or do they just want...
So I'm the only woman in here. So,
You scared of me or something? Dang, I'm the only woman in here. You
no,
scared?
because when you looked at me, I was thinking that I would respond last,
Oh
but
nah, yeah, you first. Ladies
clearly I'm
first.
the only woman in here. So it's about, the question is geared towards women, a woman's response. Well, let me ask this question. Why do you ask that question?
Because I feel like when men communicate, the reaction to the communication is usually negative.
Do you have an example?
So look,
Uh-huh.
so y'all know how Sugar, shout out Sugar, she always talking
Shout out
about
to
how
Montana. You know
Shout
the
out, Sugar. We
vibes.
miss you.
she always talking about what men want. All they want is some head.
Mm-hmm.
So
Montana
so
said
say
that.
you not like just a head giver, and your man come to you like, I need head more often.
Mm-hmm.
He's communicating that to you,
Mm-hmm.
and your response is like, well, I'm just not that person. Why would he communicate those things to you? Like, what's the point of the communication?
If nothing's going to change.
And to make it not just a sexual thing, it could be with anything. Like, oh, you got this friend that you've been communicating with, that's a guy, and yeah, you told him about it, but now he's like, I'm uncomfortable with that. So maybe you shouldn't, I'm just uncomfortable with you talking to dude. And it's like, well, you been knew this was my friend. So what's the point of the communication if there's not going to be any change in the actions that's going on? And then it'll turn into, well, you knew this going in, or you knew this beforehand. So what really is the point?
So you feel like men communicate, but they don't get anything from that communication, or they don't? There's no action.
There's no action behind it. Sometimes it turns into, well, I feel like this, and you're making me feel this way, and it's like, this ain't about you. It's not about you. This about me. That's why I'm coming to you to communicate issues that I see, and your response to them is kind of pushing it away as if kind of, oh, well, in a sense.
You want me to go?
You can.
Okay. Just in my opinion, I wasn't supposed to be on camera because now,
You wasn't ready
now I'm
for
about
this.
to get my ass killed.
You weren't ready
My
for
damn
this.
Sign up for
That's-
this.
I didn't sign up
That's
for this
good
shit.
you on camera
I did
then.
not sign up for this shit.
Give 'em that knowledge, Deuce.
Let me watch my. No, I hate to have to agree with you a little bit, but like I think when men communicate, it gets lost in emotion a lot of times.
Lost in emotions.
In emotions. From how it's received by the woman, if we just talking man and woman, in a relationship. I feel like when we communicate, it comes off as if we're
Attacking all the time.
You get what I'm saying? I feel like it comes off as like we're aggressive, and so when we start communicating and we're being perceived as aggressive, now here comes the emotions, here comes everything but the original issue that we were trying to communicate. And that's just me personally speaking.
You like you was about to say something?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, okay.
I do think that women really do want men to communicate. I think it's unfortunate that when y'all do communicate that we understand in a different sense. We look at it differently, as if you are attacking us. I can't say that that's for every woman, and it could potentially depend on the situation or whatever the topic is or whatever the subject is,
So do you feel like women feel attacked when men communicate to them?
I think it depends. I think that it just depends on the conversation that's being had, because sure, a woman could feel like, why are you responding this way? Or, why are you communicating to me this way? And it might feel like it's an attack. But if you're telling, like you talked about, like the head situation, if you're telling your woman that that's what you like, and she's like, well, that ain't me, so what you want me to do about it? And whatever your response may be could feel like, it wasn't Stan. See? It could feel like an attack to her, but I can't really answer the question and say like, oh, I mean, I get what you're saying. What's the point in saying something if it's still gonna remain?
Because if my communication is an attack, I'm gonna feel like, why am I communicating? If my communication comes off as an attack, I'm gonna feel like, why am I communicating? I would rather not communicate.
Is that all the time though? Or is that just like in one instant?
It don't matter.
It kind of does matter. I feel like I'm saying it matters because if it's not a consistent thing when you're communicating with your partner, and every time you communicate with them, she's saying you're attacking me, or she doesn't receive it well, she's not trying to hear you or fix whatever the issue may be, then you can say, what's the point? But if you've only had this within that one situation, you can't really say that women don't want to be communicated to or with, because it doesn't happen all the time. Maybe it was just that one situation that she probably just felt some type of way about it. She felt like you was attacking her.
So here's what I'm saying. If I don't communicate and I decide to communicate and you tell me I'm attacking you, or you make it emotional and about your emotions and how you feel,
you're going to take that
I'm going to feel like I might as well just shut the fuck up and not say nothing.
Well, that's what you're choosing to do, though. That's what you're choosing to do. You're looking at that one situation as something you not even saying.
Because the house probably was more peaceful if I just shut the fuck up and went on about my day like y'all expect us to.
This was just... I don't know what he's been through, guys, but
I'm just saying, like that, because if I'm communicating and you not receptive, or it turns into that.
But it
now
happened.
The energy
it was
is
one
fucked up.
situation, and you took that one situation, and you are going to hold that on. You're going to hold on to that as if it's going to be a continuous thing.
What's the difference?
How fair is that?
So you're saying it needs to be like a consistency
I'm
thing?
just saying there's patterns. There's things where you can honestly say like, you know what, I'm tired of this. But you've given it one shot, and that one shot already made you tired.
One, that's not what was said. We're just going off you saying that if. That's a big if. Mm-hmm. But even with that if it's one time that I communicated, why do you feel attacked from this one time?
That's what I
Because
said,
that's
and
not a regular thing. So why are you feeling like I'm attacking you if I usually don't say
it
nothing and I
depends
decide this one
on
time to say something? You shouldn't feel attacked.
it depends on
Yeah, but
the
that goes both
conversation.
ways.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like it
both
has
sides
to
goes
be,
both ways.
it has to be give and take. Like if I don't never communicate and I decide to come to you like, hey, babe,
Well,
XYZ.
that's another way to communicate, because you can also communicate that to your partner and like, you know what? So I'm trying to have a conversation with you and I'm trying to express to you how I'm feeling, and you telling me that you being attacked right now. Like, what do you want me to do in this situation? Like, it seemed like right now that I'm losing on both ends, whether I say something or if
Or
I
don't.
don't.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like
So
men
it's
have to deal with.
I
It's a
don't
lose-lose. Communicate, you lose. Don't communicate is why you don't communicate. Or I want you to tell me what's going on. Or no,
I
you
feel like
don't
active
really want to.
communication, active listening is a big thing, and I think that understanding, you know, honestly, like understanding and listening to your partner and listening to what they're saying. So maybe it's the other party, maybe it's the female, because all females aren't like that. Like, you have to be willing to listen to someone when they're speaking to you and understand what place it's coming from, because this person loves you. So don't take everything that they're saying to you in a negative way. Try to receive things with positive intent. Okay, my partner's telling me this stuff, and even if she felt attacked in that moment, there should be some type of ground where she can come to herself and be like, damn, I did. Because, and that's why people shouldn't respond so quickly either, though. Like, if you really take time and like pause, try to like,
That's hard though, because a pause can seem like disrespect too.
it can.
Absolutely.
Hell is you
but-
looking dumb for?
But
So
again,
you ain't got
if
shit.
we
All the shit I just
always-
said and you ain't got nothing to say?
We always
Keep this shit to
Yeah,
myself
but that's
next
why we
time.
talking about communicating though. Like you,
man,
you
that
can't,
pause
you
can set
shouldn't
somebody
just-
up in a
you should-
rage.
You shouldn't just respond like right
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
anyways.
But here's my thing though. If you respond right away, I could give you a pass. I could give you a pass for that initial response, because I know a lot of times my initial response be fucked up, you know.
Be real.
But
a-hole
then you think
stuff,
about
like,
it, you know. And I understand you saying, okay, take a pause, but really in the moment, it's hard to. We having a deep conversation. Okay, give me 15 seconds to really digest that.
I don't know, cause I feel like that's something I had to learn how to do too. Like, especially when it come down to just like communicating with friends and conversations that may be uncomfortable. Like, I'm probably just not gonna respond, and I have to allow you to take that in. But then I will let you know, like, listen, I didn't respond because one, I didn't have an answer, and then if I would have given you what I had at the time, it wouldn't have been appropriate or correct. And then I would have had to try to shovel myself up out of that. And I don't want to always have to do that in a situation.
I ain't gonna lie. I'll just shovel myself. And maybe I need to work
But
on
it
that. I
depends,
need to work
though.
on that.
It really depends on the conversation.
I'm the type of person, like, I'm a fuck up, but I'm gonna say I'm sorry afterward. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have
And
to
mean
like.
it genuinely. Like I'm gonna fuck up and know like
right.
I ain't have to say that.
Right.
And it ain't even really what I
But
meant.
that's what
But
I'm
I'm gonna come
saying,
let
so-
you know that.
I think
But I ain't gonna
women
leave you
could.
hanging.
I don't think that all women will feel attacked if they man is communicating to them, because yes, that's essentially what we want. We can't say that that's what we want, and then when we get it, now it's a big issue, because a lot of men don't really speak up and say things or say how they feeling or what's bothering them or what more do they want. You usually find women doing that.
When we communicate though, and I want to ask you this: when we communicate and or harp on something, it's usually about sex. So honestly, to both of y'all, how do you handle like, you know, your partner asks you about sexual things that you ain't really comfortable with or you don't want to do or you're not into like that? How do you handle that in a relationship?
You could go. Ladies first.
You're not gonna keep using that.
Ladies
you
first.
can go ahead. I don't really have a
Mama
response
raised me
yet.
right. She need her 15 seconds already.
Yeah, get up. No, I'm really asking though.
For me, it's not really a sexual thing with my partner that I feel like I'm just not gonna do unless it involves certain shit.
Right.
Okay.
So he's
Like
talking about the
another
certain.
dude.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what we're
So
talking
how
about.
do you
This-
respond?
We don't need to
to-
know what the certain stuff is, but how do you handle that situation if she's into something that you might not really be into? How do you handle that?
I don't know because it's never been asked of me, so I can't tell you. Like, because my things are pretty strict. You're not playing with no part of my ain't. You ain't playing with my booty at all, and ain't no another dude coming into the bedroom. That's it. Anything you want me to do to you, or you want to do to me outside,
But we
of
ain't
that,
talking about all of that. We talking about those two things.
it's never been asked. It's never been.
So you
brought
don't
to
know
me.
how you would respond.
Yeah, I
basically.
don't. I feel like if it was brought to me, it's a hard no. And if that's what you feel like you need, then
So how is that different from what you just was saying earlier?
I wanted to ask that question.
well, I feel like because what you mean as far as oral sex?
No, just as far as like your partner saying, that's not me. I'm not that.
Well,
So
one,
you
because
basically just saying the same exact thing.
because my things incorporate another person, which if I'm with you and you feel like you need another person, what we doing?
No, we ain't talking about what the things are. We talk
Make
about the
it
mentality.
specific.
We talk about the mentality
And
though.
I'm making it specific because I feel like I don't really have that mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like those two things are hard
do you
things.
see what I was just how I was just interpreting that?
Yeah, I mean I understand what you're saying too, but it's like
It seemed like you saying the exact same thing that you was just saying the opposite of when
Like
we first start.
contradicting
Yeah,
yourself.
saying like you contradicting yourself because
yeah, I don't feel like I am just because it's kind of like if something was a hard no for you, then I would get it.
okay.
But her saying no, it's not my thing. It ain't me. It's not hard enough.
I don't want it. It kind of depends. Like, okay, so say you go running every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, you go running once a week, and your partner's like, let's go running 4 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, nah, that's not my thing, but you go running. So to say that is kind of like, I'm not asking you to do something you don't do
You just asked
or
me
you
to do
won't
it more.
do. I'm just asking you to do it more. That's completely different than what I'm saying.
Okay. I can see how you wiggle just so I can
I
see
mean,
how
I'm just being.
you wiggle yourself
Sweet
over.
wiggle, bro.
It was a lot of your 15 seconds.
It was a lot of the 15
different.
seconds, bro.
Let me keep my hands to
It's
myself.
cool.
I don't want to get sued.
It's completely different.
That was good.
Sure.
That was a good wiggling, boy. You made
We
for this
look,
shit.
look, we know.
I do my shit, bro.
I'm just like,
But it's completely different to me. Y'all don't think so?
I ain't gonna say completely, but you did find a difference in
He
there. It took
found
you a
a
while to find
difference, yeah.
It is different.
There's a difference in there. I ain't gonna say completely, but
Yeah, it's different.
that was a good job.
yeah.
You know.
What was the question? It was a lot of 15 seconds.
Like, how do you handle like when your partner's into something and you're not into it and you don't want to, or you're into something and your partner's not into it?
I mean, if he ain't into it, I would respect it. If it was something that I wanted and he didn't give it to me, I would have a problem with that. But if he
How
wanted,
do you handle that though?
I would probably try it. I would. I
No,
mean,
I'm saying if he don't want to give you what you want, how would you handle that? How do you address like?
I would let him know that I'm not happy about it. But me missing one thing and then me getting all these other things that pleases me is not really gonna tilt the boat over. You know,
Okay.
I feel like it's You can't win at everything. You're not
Right.
gonna get everything. So as long
That's
as I'm
such a
still,
loser's mentality. That's that everyone gets a trophy. I ain't cut from that cloth.
She's saying she picks her
I'm
battles.
saying you
She
compromise.
said, yeah,
You do
she's
pick your battles. Like if why am I?
I'm listening.
I'm
Come
just
on.
saying, why am I going to, harp on this one thing, and I have so much more, other things to, be good with. It just, for me, it ain't. Yeah.
That's like, never mind.
That's like what?
To me, that's just like a person saying, "I'm not dealing with a nigga that ain't got no money, but he love you the right way, do all the stuff for you, care for you when you call, he does do all these other things, but if he broke, nah, I can't do it." That one thing.
But if I'm
Right,
but if
she
I'm
gets to
already
pick
in
that
a
one thing, though.
relationship,
Yeah.
But
but
see-
if I'm already in a relationship with somebody, I'm not going to let go of this relationship because it is one thing. Now, if I'm just meeting a guy and I got my standards,
Right. That's a different. Yeah.
If I want a dude that have money and he don't have money, but he got all this other stuff, but my biggest thing is his bread, then it might be something I can't settle for.
So what if you in a relationship and then it stops or it slows down?
What stops?
Whatever that one thing is.
I don't know. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. I would definitely let him know though. Like, you need to pick it back up.
But
Do
is
you-
it enough
do you
to
guys-
tip the boat?
But
If he don't pick it back up.
I don't know.
do you guys think that not having that one thing like leaves an open opportunity for your partner to search for it elsewhere? Elsewhere?
I think it depends on the person. I absolutely believe that it could, though. I think that a lot of people do get into that mode where they start missing something or they not getting something because, for whatever reason, it kind of creates like a easier space or for them to just be like, oh, and it gives them an excuse, whether they know that, they want it or not. Like, well, you wasn't
consciously
doing
or
this for me.
subconsciously.
Yeah, so this person was doing it, and this is why I did it, which would make them feel like it's okay to do it.
Yeah. So yeah.
But I don't think that. To each their own,
So we can move on.
Nothing?
You had it
I
more.
ain't-
Yeah, we can
I
move
ain't
on
touching
from
it.
that.
Ain't got nothing to say.
But I
definitely.
definitely wanted to play this clip that we was talking about. Had the group chat in a frenzy.
Bussin'.
So the caption says, "Being called an independent black woman is not a compliment." And this came across the timeline, and I thought it was very interesting. So let's see.
you're gonna play it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause.
I wrote a post that went viral in 2015. It said, "Please do not address me as a strong, independent black woman. It's not a compliment." Because when you think of something strong, you do not think of coming to the aid of it. And at the Boston conference,
Oh, they
I
ain't been
spoke and
coming
I
to the
said,
aid of black
in
men
the
for
audience,
how long?
you were in the audience, and I said, I asked the fellas, if you had some luggage and you needed an animal to carry it, fellas, what animal would you think of? An elephant, right? Something strong. Why don't you think about a cat or a mouse? Because it can't handle it. So when we are looked at and walk around as strong, what we're putting out is, I do not need assistance. I don't need your help. So anytime a man says, "Oh, I love that you're so strong," I said, "No, I'm not strong. I'm resilient. I'm not independent. I'm interdependent." Because nobody ever comes to the aid of the strong person. For most of us, ask ourselves, who comes to our aid?
All right. She said that so elegant.
Just listening to that again took me to a whole different.
Where you at? Where it take you
Man.
to? Let us know. Where
It
did
took me
it?
somewhere
where did
different
it-
than
where
when we was talking about it in the group
It should
chat.
have. It should have. It should have.
Let
Because
us
I don't
know.
know if it's good
it's
or
Where'd
not.
you travel to? Where you at? Let us.
Just
we
her
can-
saying
we
her-
we want to
we can
go
meet you
there.
there.
Her
wanna go
saying,
there.
her saying like being looked at as strong means that nobody needs to come to your aid. And I feel like that's something that black men deal with. Like,
Hold on. Can we stay on topic first?
y'all asked
You
me
know
where
he
it took
can.
me.
You know he cannot.
It took me there. Y'all asked me where it took me.
Go ahead and then Remind me to get back on topic.
No, go.
after
Yeah,
that.
we could stick to the topic and we could touch that later. But I feel
I
like
mean, your point gonna
that's-
come in
and
the
yeah,
topic anyway.
Yeah. So
You want to go or you?
I'm spilling juice.
Because I had much
all
more
over
to say,
me.
not about black men, but even about what she said and just where it put
Can
me
you
at
start?
as far
Can
as
you
the
start
woman.
off from
with
the
the
woman's
woman?
perspective then first?
I feel like that's what they ask for a lot of times is to be looked at as a strong black independent woman. Like you see it so much and
How so? How do we ask for that?
ask to be a strong
Ask to be looked at as a strong black, yeah.
when
Like
y'all claim it, when y'all call yourselves that, when y'all yell it out, I'm a strong black independent woman, I don't need this and I don't need that. You're asking for that.
okay.
When you're telling me I don't need to depend on a man, I don't need a man to do nothing for me, I can do this on my own. You're asking for that. When at whatever point that the black woman was told that they don't need a man, that was asked for. Because when you push that away and say you don't need it, how else am I supposed to look at you?
Why do you think that was pushed towards women? Do you think that is something that the woman created, or do you think that a man could have potentially created that concept for a woman?
What man is the question?
I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm just
I
asking.
mean, I don't know either, but when you say a man, are you saying like black men said, hey, you need to be a strong black independent woman?
I'm just
Because I
asking,
don't
where
think
do
that's
you-
what happened.
Right. So what do you think happened? Where do you think this came from? Do you think that we brought it upon ourselves, that we started and we created this?
No, I think
this
it was a
thought?
systematic thing that happened. Honestly, it was systematic. Hey, we'll give you all these benefits. We'll give you this. You can do that. You don't need a man in the household. That's where I think it started from. But it gave black women the power to feel like, hey, maybe I don't.
Well, because a lot of times black women grow up with the absence of a black man. And I do feel like...
Well, when you're saying where it came from, when that started...
Right, but when you
I
just said that, they started giving all these benefits and they started doing all of that and they started telling the women, like, I don't know if anybody specifically said, hey, you don't need a black man or you don't need a man, so take this and
Well,
you can
of course,
get
we
this
don't-
and you can
we
get
don't
that.
know.
But if that's the case, they're giving this woman... Because they're giving this woman all of these things because of what? Because if there was a man there, do you think that they would be giving her these things? So to me, it seems like there had to be some sort of absence of a man there if somebody's just going to give her all of this stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
So the black woman essentially had to become strong, had to become independent because men weren't there.
Or it was given to them so that they wouldn't need the man, so that
But
they
for
could feel
what-
like I don't need you here because I can do this on my own.
Yeah, it's like what came first, the chicken
Or the egg. Yeah, because
That's
when
the
you
debate
speak
right now.
about where it came from, a long-standing thing that people always talk about is the back in the old days,
Sure.
the man took care of his family, his household, did all this and that.
Sure. Mhm.
Might have had 2 or 3 of them, but he took care of his household, right? So the woman wasn't without the man. So at what point did it become, oh, I'm just ain't gonna be there? If for all this time he was there taking care of the woman,
Well, I
what
don't
made
know. I
him
think
just decide
I think that's a
I'm
question.
gonna stop?
That's a question for a man to answer. Because at what point did a man decide that he just decided not to be there? Because I do believe that women become everything like you just talked about back in the day. Everything starts at some point. Like nothing just happens. It grew over time and became this big thing where women are saying they're strong, black, and independent, which in my mind is if I'm saying that I'm strong, black, and independent, what am I saying against someone else, or against the opposite sex? Am I saying because I am all of this that you are none of it, or I'm all of this and I don't need you for that? Is that title that I'm placing upon myself saying to you without me verbally speaking, is it saying I don't need you because I feel that I am strong, black, and independent?
Yes.
How so?
Typically because the actions behind it show that I don't have to deal with anything from you because I'm independent, I'm strong, I can do all this on my own. So the slightest anything is like next.
Shouldn't we all be that way anyways? Shouldn't we all be strong, independent, being able to do things on our own anyways?
Being strong, yes, you should be a strong person. You should be able to take care of
So
yourself.
with that question, shouldn't everybody be that, right? So I asked that question in the thread. So why is that only placed, that those titles only placed on black women? Is it strategic? Is it, you know?
I don't. And see, here's the thing, because I don't hear anybody saying, I don't hear a hashtag or a title line or anything saying that black men are weak.
No, I'm not.
Or any of that stuff. So
We didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that either.
I know, but
no, I'm saying
saying
like, is that title strategically placed on the black woman?
you were asking, like, you had asked a question, like, why is it? And I don't know, but is it strategically placed on black women? I don't know, because I don't know what would be the purpose of a woman being, or that title being put on a woman. I don't get the purpose behind it, of just, okay, that's what a woman is. That's what a black woman is. She's strong, black, she's independent. What it shouldn't define what or how a man is seen, or why it's not placed upon the black man. I think if it's not placed upon the black man, then there has to be a reason behind it. We talked about this earlier in the pod when we first started. You see a lot of black men that are living with women. You see a lot of black men that are dependent on women, and you see a lot of black single women. So for them, if back in the day the men took care of the family, but now you looking at society and you see that there's a lot of men not taking care of their kids, they're not taking care of their family, or the woman, if that's what it was back in the day, it's not like that now. So yeah, if you see a black woman doing all of these things that what we were taught or what we learned a black man should have been doing for his family, then sure, that's probably how the title came and stuck to a woman, where it's looked at as something positive. Like, yeah, she's running her house, because we essentially think that that's what the man's supposed to do. So when you see a woman running her house, paying the bills, working, doing things with her car, taking care of her kids, taking out the trash, doing all of these things that we think and we say a man should do, yes, we're going to say that this woman is strong, black, and independent.
But if men was doing that for how long, why weren't they called strong, black, and independent?
I wasn't
men?
here. I don't know, because even now, I don't know if men are called either or, honestly. I will say that I don't hear, right, and you can speak to that because you're a man. And so for that, maybe it's not enough for y'all, because there's a lot of women out here that are like doing their stuff. They on the grind, working, 2-3 jobs, being single, taking care of the kids. Maybe it's not enough men out here to raise that bar so that the title could be held up a little bit higher for y'all. I don't know.
We never needed the title. We didn't have it when we was doing it. We're not looking for the title.
Apparently, like I said, apparently it ain't enough. And maybe it was never enough. I don't know.
What's not enough?
It wasn't enough for y'all when the title first existed, or whatever.
It wasn't enough black men doing what they were supposed to.
That's what I'm saying. Are you talking about back in the day? Are you talking about back in the day?
Hold on. So you saying even back in the day?
That's why I'm asking you. I just said, are you talking about back in the day?
I said
He's saying any day.
I said when men was doing that.
I said I wasn't here. I don't know.
Whether you was here or not, we know what happened back in the day. No title of...
They were called the men of the house back in the day, right? They was the men of the house. They went home. They got the bacon. They took the bacon home. The wife cooked it and paid the bills. That's what she did. So they did have the title, because that's why you feel the way that you feel.
No.
It is.
No.
I need a napkin.
This is why that's such BS. Being called the man of the house is he's doing the man of the house things. But the woman still had the woman of the house title, even then, because she did the things that she did for the house. It still was no, oh, you're a strong black independent man because you handle your
Those
shit.
words probably didn't exist back then in
So
that
strong,
form.
so strong just happened.
Bro,
Black
I
just
wasn't
happened.
there back
Independent
then.
just happened. Cut it out.
For
like
what?
nobody.
Because how can a man be independent if you in a relationship or you married to a woman? The woman is called independent because she's not in any type of relationship with a man. She's independent because she's single and she's doing things on her own.
Bullshit. You just said out your mouth, it's a lot of men living on women. She's considered a strong black independent woman because she's handling all that shit and he ain't doing shit.
Hold
on. You just out your mouth
I know what I said.
It's a bunch of men living on women, right?
Yep.
That woman is still gonna be considered a strong black independent woman, right? So what's the difference if the woman was at home and the man was taking care of her and paying all the bills and doing all that? Why is that not the same thing?
It is. That's why he was just called the man of the house.
But you just said he's married or whatever. If she got
a family,
if she got a man living with her just because she take care of him, then she not a strong independent black woman. Is that what you're saying?
No.
If it's a man in her house, she not a strong independent black woman. Is that what you're saying?
Repeat the question.
I'll get her 15 seconds. I said it twice.
This one I put the calculations above your head.
Lord. You said if a woman is if a man is living with a woman, does that still make her strong, black, and independent?
If she taking care of everything and he ain't doing nothing, like you said, it's a bunch of men living on women. What does that make her?
She's strong. She black. If that's her skin color, and she independent, because if he living off her, he ain't taking care of her, and ain't nobody taking care of her.
No, she's woman of the house and he man of the house. Because she got somebody living with her. That's the same shit you just said back in the day, where he's the man of the house, she the woman of the house. He not strong, black, independent because he's man of the house and she's woman of the house.
I never said that back in the day that a man taking care of his family, bringing home the bacon, taking it to his wife. I never said that didn't make that man strong, black, and independent. Only thing I said was that the wording was different. He was the man of the house. That's what I said. I never said whatever it is that you're saying right now.
Is that title divisiveness between black men and women?
What, strong, black, independent?
Yeah.
I don't think it's divisive. I don't know if it should even. I don't want to say it shouldn't exist because people that's what people are. They are adjectives that describe them, but I don't think it should be used in a way that
it's just
almost belittles people.
No one looks at a woman to be doing those.
You say
things.
that title belittles men?
It's used to.
What title?
Strong, independent black woman. He said that's used to belittle black men, and that's why I asked, is it divisive?
And
that's why I feel like it can, because it is used in that way. I don't think everybody use it that way. I don't think a woman always, if she's saying I'm strong, black, and independent, no, that don't mean she's belittling men. But at the same time, if you're coming at men like, I don't need you, I'm a strong, black, independent woman, and
that's different. If she's saying that,
it comes in that form more often than we like to think or realize.
I mean, I think that's unfortunate if that's the case, and I don't know.
I just think it is kind of like funny how that title is only placed on this certain
specific
group of people. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep asking, like, do you think it's calculated?
It may be
do you
something,
think
I think that
it's divisive? Do you think it's
possibly looked at as something foreign, right? You don't naturally look at a woman to be doing all of those things.
But we know women do all of those things.
But you saying woman, right? And the difference with just saying woman, you don't hear the term, she a strong, white, independent woman.
I'm not getting into that.
But That's
But
that
that's what
is
we
the
getting into.
conversation.
That's the
though.
conversation.
Why is it placed just
That's
on
what I'm
one
trying to
group
get
of
into.
people?
Oh well, see y'all. I didn't know that that's where we was going because in the chat we didn't.
I
didn't
kept trying to
open
go
that
there, but
up.
y'all kept
We didn't
running.
open that
I was
up
on one.
You know, this
he
conspiracy shit
like
with me,
literally
dog.
went to black men. So I thought that's what we were sticking to.
I
like
didn't.
so. You always go to
Nope,
what is it
I
not about the
didn't.
man? You always do that.
Nope,
Anyways, the
I
pod
didn't.
know. So
That ain't what I did.
I don't know why it's not
answered the
put on
question.
white women. Like white women live a whole.
No, we ain't talking specifically white women. Let's
Right,
loosen
we not,
this.
but
Let's
I
Because
was
loosen
y'all
this
said
up.
white, so I'm trying to figure
Because
out.
you said woman, when you brought in woman, then that's like you would hear them use the term.
Can I give a quick example, and I hope it ain't ignorant, but I'm about to go out on a ledge here since y'all playing it safe today.
I ain't.
Since y'all playing safe today. So like, all right, so I get like that perception thing, right? Because if you think about it, or if you worked at a hospital before, right?
Yeah.
Bunch of different groups of ethnicities, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about, if you don't mind me asking, like the Polish women in there when they're working?
How do I feel about them in what sense? Like,
Just how they work. Specifically
specifically the Polish women.
Yeah. Have you noticed or no? This might be over your head.
Yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention.
So
I felt like almost everybody was lazy.
Okay.
You know,
right.
kind of.
All right. No, all right. So just from my observation, you know, when I see like the Polish women at the hospital, they in there busting their ass, running circles around people. Like just you could just tell it's a pride
thing.
and the type in like I'm a worker. You know, I work. You know, but that the title of strong, independent Polish woman, you don't hear that. You know what I'm saying? So why is it only a certain group of people that's considered strong, independent when you look out in the world, everybody out here busting their ass and strong? Yeah. It's like, is it strategic? Is it to, why is it that? I don't get it. That's why I'm trying to ask. But I think we beating a dead horse. Yeah. Cocaine, she done. She kind of going through.
No, you know what? Because I just
like how she said it though. Like, if I keep saying how strong I am, who's gonna come to my aid when I need help?
I wanted to comment on that too, because I do feel like with strong people in general, I think that they are less likely. I think that they are less likely to receive aid sometimes. Like some people may just be like automatically think like, nah, they got it, they good, so we ain't gonna worry about it.
Say that.
So,
but I don't get the option to.
We all have options. We all have options
we do
in
not.
this world, and
moving on.
we not about to let Pond get into his tangent.
Yeah, about to.
Because why don't you have any options?
I don't.
Why? Why is that? You don't wait. First of all, let's tell the world. Let's tell the pod. Like, what? You don't have any options to what?
Men don't have the option to not be strong.
And why is that?
To not be independent.
And why is that?
Because we don't. We looked at as less than if we do.
Okay, who cares?
Pride cares. As a man, you should care.
That sounds very personal.
It can be personal.
Okay.
That can be personal, but we don't have the room for that.
There's
I could never
a plethora of things in the world that anybody else could be doing. You see people out here that are panhandlers, people experiencing all of these different things, and sometimes people have a choice. They choose, and sometimes they don't. So let me make that clear. Sometimes people are dealt hard, bad hands, whatever the case may be. But every day we wake up in life, we have a choice to say F this.
I don't feel like I
I'ma
ever
do
could have
it.
said what that lady said the way she said it.
You said what?
I don't feel like I could have ever said what that lady said.
You can do anything you want to do.
And not be, I can't say it and be endeared the way she was
You
and
can't
feel
say
like
it and not care about what the world would think about
I absolutely
you saying it.
can. I absolutely can.
Pride.
However, I can't. It's not even about pride. I can't say it, and the world don't look at me completely different than the way they look at her. Just not gonna happen.
Yeah. You're right.
So therefore, that option don't exist.
I get what you're
I
saying.
couldn't have never said I don't want to be looked at as strong. Cause ain't nobody gonna come to my aid.
I mean, you say it without saying it half the time, but that's cool.
And I think his point he's trying to make is basically nobody coming to a man's aid. Like, you know, like you said, you got a choice. You could be a panhandler, and that's what we gonna be. If you know, ain't nobody coming to our aid. Somebody will come to a woman's aid. And
That's not all the time true.
Most of the time.
I
would say most of the time true. Most of the time, somebody gonna come to your aid. Most of the time, you know.
90% of the time.
How you got me
If
over
you
here
in the-
excited with this too?
Hey, you been doing that all day, but it's cool. I got me over here.
If you in the jam,
I got me over
if
here.
you in the jam, do you got somebody you can call?
Jesus.
If you in the jam, you got somebody you can call? Go ahead and say Jesus again.
Jesus.
All right, let's wrap up
I'ma
this
call
last.
Tyrone.
Let's wrap up this last topic
Amen.
real quick.
Jesus.
The Megan Good and Devon Franklin.
Oh,
Megan
let
Good and
cocaine
Devon
start
Franklin.
okay. We'll
They
make
recently
this one
divorced,
quick.
right?
'cause
She the expert.
They recently divorced, right?
They recently divorced. And the only reason why I wanted to touch base on it is because I was just reading some of the comments that was posted about it. And I just had just a few things to say.
And a lot of people cared about they marriage, right? A lot of people.
Yeah,
like,
I followed
you know,
them. I love seeing them two together. I love seeing how, you see a man supporting his wife or you see a wife supporting her husband and all of
What's
that good
happening
stuff.
behind them
Beautiful
scenes,
thing,
though?
huh?
Yeah, that's why I say I love to see it. What
was
I don't
happening
see,
behind them
I don't know.
scenes?
But he said, after much prayer and consideration, we have decided to go into our futures separately, but forever connected. We celebrate almost a decade of marriage together in love that is eternal. There is no one at fault. We believe this is the next best chapter in the evolution of our love. We are incredibly grateful for the life-changing years we've spent together as husband and wife. We are also extremely thankful to God for the testimony being created inside us both and for our blessings, our lives and each other. Bye. Okay. So, very nice message to the world. Do anybody got the post that I made with the comments? My phone be acting weird.
Yeah, but what was like kind of the mood of them while we look for the comments?
Of the comments?
Yeah.
So they were negative. You had some people saying that, oh, he cheated. And I think, bless you, I think that was like the main thing for me. Like, people were saying like, oh, that's not really what happened. He didn't want to be with her. Look at who she is and how she is. You know,
got it
he's
right
a
here.
pastor and, he couldn't maintain being with a woman like her or something. I guess like she was on a different end of life than he was, as far as like him being a preacher and her like probably not being fully committed. That's what to the Lord. That's what people were saying.
Okay.
So one of the posts you sent, it said, the caption said, "They ain't fooling nobody. That nigga was cheating and they trying to do it amicably. That's all." The original post said, "Devon and Megan got married and immediately began writing books, going on talk shows, doing interviews, tours, and marriage conferences, teaching on celibacy and marriage and now they are divorcing. You got to go through some things before you gain enough wisdom to give to others. Now that they're going through irreconcilable differences, he files for a divorce. Getting married does not make you an expert. Neither does being a pastor, having money, and status." Some of the comments said either that or he wants to change her image but failed miserably because she's making good and that's her brand. Her movies and image. I thought that it's cheating, or he wants a preacher's wife and she's not it. Another comment, watch how quickly he gets somebody else pregnant. Another comment, nothing
Humans
wrong
are
with keeping people
brutal.
out your business. Got all our asses assuming and wondering why.
Okay, we get the point.
Yeah. Only reason why I brought it up and wanted to talk about it is because I know that what I've learned is that, marriage is different for everybody. But if two parties decide that they want to get a divorce and they do it amicably, and they just decide that it's not working, what's wrong with that? Like, why? How did it? And I know it's like human nature, I guess, because we not used to seeing relationships end well. It always, especially in the celebrity world,
Because men always cheat, right?
You see a lot of marriages end or relationships end because somebody cheated, somebody went ahead a baby. So that's what we just used to seeing, and we promote that a lot more than we can promote these two individuals like deciding that, hey.
So everybody's projecting those views onto this situation, you feel?
Yeah, because that's what I've seen so far. I'm pretty sure other people look at it the same. Some people look at it the same way, like, they may have, it just may have stopped working for them.
Do you think they'll like sell a book about it?
I don't know. I mean, on divorcing nicely. I don't know. Just go to therapy, I guess. I don't know.
They probably do that shit, make some money.
You think
They
so?
probably could.
Oh, because divorce is like really high or something.
But just
And
kind
it's
of how
always how hostile or tension.
Right. And you kind of, we was kind of discussing how she was like, it was like they waited before they did. It seemed like everything is publicized on this, so why wouldn't you publicize? I mean, profit off of the
divorce part of it.
But,
I just don't understand why it was instantly he cheated or was trying to change her. Like, who says that? Like, why is that the thing that is?
do guys usually mess it up?
No.
I feel like men deal with a lot. Like, we're probably last to say we're leaving.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all, because I actually know personally women that are in relationships with men and men decide to leave. They do. They have.
But we talk
Divorces.
about the bigger scale. We talk about the bigger scale.
Exactly.
I mean, but it could be big or small, but it's not absolute.
On a huge
because
scale,
it happens.
Who files for divorce more, the man or the woman?
I don't know. We can look up the man does. Like you saying, yeah, dudes.
I think
the woman does.
I think the woman.
If that wasn't the case, it wouldn't be so much talk about prenups and giving her half, and it's cheaper to keep her. Because I don't think it's a lot of men filing divorces.
Well, a lot of times you do hear about a man cheating.
Stuff.
So if that's the case, then that's probably why the woman getting a divorce. Because the man ain't gonna get no divorce if he the one cheating, if he the one in the wrong.
Men,
but that's why I asked, who messes it up more?
Men don't usually.
Men or women?
Who mess it up?
Yeah, who messes it up initially? Who messes up the relationship more?
That's like saying, "Oh, the man cheated. Why he cheat?"
Okay, I got you.
I don't.
I got you.
What is he saying?
Why did the man go and cheat?
He's saying,
was you fulfilling everything he needed for him to not go and cheat?
Chicken of the egg.
Because if he went and cheated, maybe you wasn't doing something. Maybe
so
he
if
tried
you
to tell
feeling that
you
way,
that.
then why not get a divorce? If your woman isn't pleasing you, because it's cheaper to keep. We talked about that before. But if your woman isn't pleasing you and y'all have had this conversation and she's steady attacking you and she ain't getting it or feeling attacked, she's not getting it, why not just go get a divorce? Why wait for the woman to find out so that the woman could get the divorce instead? And then say, well, you wasn't doing this, so I had to go and cheat.
Now you're potting, baby.
You really asking that?
Yes.
Because if I talk, that don't mean I don't love. Of course, I want to be here if I talk to you about the issues and all of that. I don't want us to be divorced. I don't want to leave you.
But you're saying
you basically do want the divorce, because if you think that a woman is going to stay with you, which she might, because I know a lot of people stay in marriages after being cheated. A lot of people stay in relationships. But if you saying that you don't want a divorce, I love you, I don't want to divorce you, but you ain't satisfying me right now. You ain't pleasing me, so I'm going to go mess with old girl over here, and then I'll be back, and we could still be together. But she finds out that's going to lead to divorce.
What you say?
If she decides to leave
what you say?
I don't know. You heard what I said?
He ain't cheating if you don't get caught.
I'm saying, though. I mean, if that's how you feel, you said it, not me. I'm single over here. You married one, not me.
That ain't got nothing to do with me being married.
I'm just saying. I
ain't,
mean,
ain't that what you said?
we not talking about me though. We talking
We ain't
about
talking
you.
about me.
Well,
We're talking about
we're
me.
talking about what your opinion was. So if it ain't what I say, it ain't cheating if you don't get caught. Is if that's your perception, that's your perception. Don't bring in what I said, because if I'm married, then that's something completely different. We were talking about me being in a boyfriend girlfriend relationship that I can just hop out of, or he can hop out of, and that's just that.
Not out the. Come on.
Yeah, she's just saying y'all talk about two different scenarios.
That's it.
That's it.
What's the difference in being with somebody 15, 19 years and being married? You not just hopping in and out of that.
So we gonna wrap it up.
All right.
Because
All
that's
right.
a whole nother different thing.
No.
Like, it's different. It's different for everybody. Whatever works for that person.
So
if
say
I'm
that.
married,
So say that.
if I'm married and we having those issues, and I find out my husband is cheating on me, then
We sorry, y'all.
Then what? You leaving?
we
Are
gonna
you
do better
leaving?
next time. I promise y'all.
Are you leaving?
you know it's just
'Cause
been
if you
I
in a
don't- I
relationship-
haven't been
we got
married
emergencies.
before.
We got emergencies.
We do.
We got a lot of good stuff.
And this
going
juice
on.
is, you know,
We got
I don't want to keep taking
cleanses.
breaks.
We got.
Yeah, to get up out here, but I do have to run, so we definitely
Nah, that's why she on that.
we gon'
We gonna make it up to you. I'm gonna edit the shit out this motherfucker.
wasn't this juicy today. We was planning to have the whole gang here, but life happens, and when it happens, you gotta still go with it. So
Exactly.
we just,
I'm with the shits.
All right.
we did what we did, but next time, y'all.
Wrap it up.